The tunnel spat us out, and the feeble moon offered the barest relief from the utter blackness. The light in the train car in front of us clicked back on our barest second before shutting off for good, but long enough for me to see the man in the flat cap now sitting at the far end of the train car joining mine. I hadn't seen him move, and traveling between the train cars was impossible. I know that it wasn't possible for him to have gotten up, leapt from one car to another, and seated himself there. He now sat in the dark, exactly as he had before, only now one dreadful car closer. He didn't seem like a part of this world, but like he was superimposed onto it. He didn't belong here with us. I wanted him to go away. My efforts to soothe Atticus had finally proved futile. He was awake enough to realize that he was hungry again. He smiled up at me for the briefest moment, then his face flushed deeply and started wailing. His toothless mouth gaped open while he declared in no uncertain terms that he was displeased. I know, bud. I repeated to him softly, but it was futile. I didn't look at the passenger. I refused to. I didn't want to see what his reaction would be. I narrowed my perception entirely towards Addie and desperately tried to get him to stop crying. Our stop was only a few minutes away. Maybe he could just hold out a little longer until then, but it was no good. His wails rose in pitch and intensity, and he started to pump his little arms frantically, beating furiously in the air. His face was a deep shade of furious crimson, and his cries started to undulate. He had spiraled into a domain of pissed off which would only be soothed with a bottle. Oh God, why hadn't I remembered the bottle? I tried to lean in to soothe him, but his little fists knocked my glasses off of my face, and I was left scrambling in a blur. Not great. I cradled him as he twitched and wriggled in my arm. I scrambled about the gritty train floor for my glasses. I could hear the frantic murmuring again, only this time it could have been coming from directly over my shoulder. I saw palms pressed against the window to our compartment from the corner of my eye. Then the lights in my train car went dead. I wrapped myself around Atticus and put myself between him and the entire world. His wailing had become a fearful whimper, a sound I had only heard once when I found him with fresh scratches all over his arms and legs. He had been attacked by a cat that day and was staring in terror while tears pooled in his red-rimmed eyes. Addie was terrified now, and I could only press him to my chest. We huddled together in the dark while the train rocked the track, while I waited for hands to start grabbing me and trying to pull Atticus away. For what purpose, I don't know. The murmuring started again, but right into my ear. I could feel cold breath on the back of my neck. It drowned out every other sound, a mad drone, either gibberish or a language from a place I never cared to see. Don't kill me, because then I won't be able to protect him. Just let me get him home safe into his crib with my wife, and then you can kill me, just not yet. Please not now, I prayed while I felt my mind breaking. I offered my life and my soul to whoever or whatever would take it in trade for Addie's safety. The mad gurgling increased in fervency, so loud that my ears were filled with it. I felt myself tugged forward by inertia as the train glided to a stop at the next station. My station. I didn't bother to grab my glasses and I sprinted out of the darkened train, but I caught a glimpse of a face pressed against the glass from the dark car. My vision is terrible, so that face looming in the dark was only a blur. What I could see was completely wrong. The face defied the logic of human proportion. I can't do justice to it. All I can tell you is that it was grinning madly. I granted impressions of a fish-mouthed grin and wild round eyes. I passed within inches of it, separated by only the merest barrier of smudged glass, and then I stumbled into the bitter cold of the December night. I watched the train slip away against my better judgment. Nothing. The train was empty, and all of the cars were lit. That should have made me feel better, but it didn't. Where did it go? I descended slowly from the platform into the hot, steaming depths of the train station. I moved precariously, placing my feet delicately one in front of the other. Better that Addie is a bit cold for a minute longer than if I trip and crush him beneath me. Addie, a sick dread gaped over me, and I realized that Addie had stopped squirming and crying completely. He felt stiff and rigid in my arms. His fists were bunched at his sides. He was still and tense in a way which was utterly unnatural, and I looked down to check that he hadn't seized up from the cold. The gaping fish-eyed grin carved into Addie's cherubic face was one that was only too similar. Beaded eyes burned with manic hatred inches from me. Seeing such a cruel intelligence on Addie's normally soft features is something I can never unsee. I screamed. I know where the dark passenger is now. I'm not going to abandon my son.